In Excel Lab 5, we're going to focus on solving equations. We're first going to solve a linear equation. So we have the equation 2/5 x minus 3/2 equals 2. And the first thing we have to do is set that equation equal to 0. So I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2 from both sides. If you want to combine your like terms and do negative 3/2 minus 2, you can. But you can put it into Excel just like that. And that's what we are going to do. So I'm going to label cell A3 X. And I'm going to label cell B3 with my equation. 2/5 x minus 3/2 minus 2. Now once I've done that, starting in cell A4, I'm going to enter some x values that I want to graph. In this case, we're going to use negative 10 to positive 10 with increments of 1. And then in B4, we're going to enter our equation in a format that Excel will like. So notice I've got negative 10, negative 9, and then once I did that, I could continue the pattern by clicking and dragging down to fill the rest of it in. And then equals 2/5 times x, which is in cell A4, minus 3/2 minus 2, and then press enter. Now I'm going to drag and fill the rest of the way down. So now we want to create a graph of the function. So since I have an equation, I'm going to do a scatter plot that has smooth lines. So insert, and we want to choose the scatter plot with smooth lines. And what I'm looking for is my solution. That's the place where the graph crosses the x-axis, which is right here. Notice I can get semi-close to it, but not perfectly close to it when I point to it. What I do notice is that it's going to be where my y values change from negative to positive. So I can tell it's going to be somewhere between 8 and 9. So I'm going to use this function called goal seek. And I'm going to come down here to the very, very bottom. I'm going to click and drag my formula down. One more blank so that in A25 there should be nothing, and in B25 it should say negative 3.5. Now go to Data, What If Analysis, Goal Seek. Now what I want, I have my y values here in column B. So what I want is B25 and my y value to be equal to 0. And I want to make that happen by changing the x value. So Excel is going to come up with the x value that will make y equal 0. And notice we get 8.75. Our second practice problem is a quadratic. And again, we want to get it set equal to 0 so we can graph it. Our function is 8x squared plus 4x equals 63, and I'm going to subtract 63 from both sides. And then I'm going to use negative 5 to 5 to graph my function. 8 times L4, since that's where I put my x value, squared, plus 4 times L4 minus 63, and press enter. Once you've typed it in once, click and drag all the way down. Now a quadratic function is going to have two solutions. So notice here my y values go from positive to negative, and then again from negative to positive. If I graph this, go to Insert, Scatter, choose Scatter with smooth lines. I can see somewhere between, here it looks like -2 and -4 it's going to cross, but we can tell by looking at our table that it's between -3 and -4. So I'm going to drag my formula down 2 more blanks, 2 more cells. With a quadratic, you have to help Excel. What you have to do is say, okay, if I know that one of your solutions is somewhere close to, we'll say -3.5, because I know it's somewhere between -3 and -4. And your other solution is going to be somewhere between +2 and +3. If you don't help Excel, it's only going to find one of them. Now, click on your y value, click Data, What If Analysis, Goal Seek. I want my y value to be equal to 0 by changing my x value. And so that is -3.07. This 6.51e -7, that does mean 0 to Excel. It's 0.000000651. All right, then do the other one. What if analysis, goal seek. We want to set our y value to 0 by changing the x value. So my two x values are -3.07 and 2.57. Those are my two x values that occur when y is equal to 0. So they are the solutions to the equation.